God bless us all. Restored Republic via GCR, update as of March 2, 2026. The latest video will be shown earlier at the official website erdailyblog.com. Judy note, how powerful is Donald Trump in the U.S.? Donald Trump is fighting Iran. Donald Trump is negotiating peace between Russia and Ukraine. Donald Trump is fighting Christian genocide in Africa. Donald Trump is fighting drug trafficking in Venezuela. Donald Trump still has Venezuela president in custody. Donald Trump is doing everything to maintain world peace. Can the world have a president like Donald Trump ever again? Everything was now under temporary control of Trump's global military alliance, the cabals. Mainstream media's satellite system has been permanently silenced. The Chinese elders have released monies for the global currency reset, plus the new quantum financial system was online with sync completed. Intel providers were being leaned on not to disclose information. Trump has given the green light for the global currency reset, launch of NESARA/Jazara funds and activation of the emergency broadcast system. President Trump's official EBS announcement could come anywhere from now to Friday, March 6, 2026, but it was expected by Monday, 2 March. That was because on Friday 27th of February afternoon a 48 to 72 hour window was activated and initial signals were detected in 100+ cities. White Hats confirmed that Phase 1 of the global transition began on Sunday 1st of March when a 48-hour blackout for the global currency reset Jazara Wealth redistribution started. Blackouts began hitting Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, Phoenix, New York City, Philadelphia, and Seattle. Monday, March 2, 2026 had the potential to be one of the craziest days in history. Project Odin Emergency Alert System, EAS, and the Emergency Broadcast System, EBS, under control of the military and already activated, would announce the Project Odin blackout, martial law and a worldwide lockdown, on Friday 6 March, set to begin Tuesday, March 3, 2026 and go until Tuesday, March 10, 2026. During that time there would be no regular mainstream media broadcasts. 10 countries including the U.S., would run 8-hour documentaries 24/7 in 77 languages playing over TV, radio and internet worldwide. Those broadcasts would expose worldwide corruption in government, banking, military and elite crimes, such as the U.S. Incorporated exposed as a private corporation, Epstein files disclosures, Clinton connections to adrenochrome and child trafficking. Also exposed would be cloning, FEMA crimes, chemtrails, DARPA ops, the MedBed rollout timeline, public access March 15 with priority to veterans and trafficking survivors, plus exposed the Vatican's Khazarian Mafia's Ninth Circle satanic child sacrifice cult's control over mankind. The broadcasts would also explain a full NESARA/Jazara implementation, completion of the debt jubilee, abolishment of the IRS and activation of MedBeds for veterans, cabal victims and eventually the general public. On Tuesday, March 3, 2026 the days of darkness begin, to Tuesday, 10th of March, and the Starlink satellite system would beam across the globe, tutorials on MedBeds, exposing how the elites hoarded the tech for centuries, while poisoning the masses with chemtrails and vax mandates. On Wednesday, March 4, 2026 mass arrest operations would intensify under global military alliance coordination. SEAL teams and special units would deploy to critical locations worldwide. Deep cleaning would be initiated as the shotgun currency liquidity release continued in the background. On Thursday, March 5, 2026 our military intelligence confirmed that with the green light already given, the military broadcast system release would begin at 3 p.m. PDT in secured channels for global transmission. Stay-at-home orders for every nation would be launched. The banking reset protocol would launch. All fiat transactions will be frozen across the globe. Activation of the new quantum financial system would give public notice through the EBS channel 4. Non-SIM exchanges will be scheduled for immediate access. On Friday, March 6, 2026 a worldwide curfew would be enforced. Civilian movements would be restricted from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. Compliance would be mandatory. All activity would be monitored by the Starlink satellite grid. Structured payout briefing windows prepared for Tier 4B. On Friday 6 March and Saturday March 7, 2026 ZIM redemptions will floodgate across the globe. Currency exchanges followed out on Saturday March 7, 2026 D-Class Phase 1 begins. Secure video archives start streaming on government channels. Power grid transfer initiates. Nuclear and Tesla based energy systems begin phasing in. Selected regions undergo controlled blackouts for grid integration. Shotgun currency exchange liquidity streams continue sinking with new infrastructure. ZIM Advanced Protocols, up to $500 million, positioned for appointment confirmations. On Sunday, March 8, 2026, global media switchover preparations escalate. Legacy broadcast networks marked for termination. QFS secured channels begin testing truth session transmissions. Military cyber units begin dismantling censorship frameworks worldwide. On Monday, 9th of March. 2026 international tribunals enter public disclosure stage. Evidence packages prepared for release on secure government platforms. High-profile individuals queued for the first wave. Transparency protocols fully verified. On Tuesday, March 10, 2026, 10 days of darkness ends, while a new golden era begins. Border realignment operations expand. National Guard and Alliance engineers establish new safe zones and ID verification corridors. Global movement tracking transitions to satellite-based identification grids. On Wednesday, March 11, 2026, the reveal begins. The pre-recorded presidential message enters final encryption cycle for worldwide broadcast. Confirms restoration of the constitutional governance, restructuring of global financial authority and alignment with the quantum financial system. On Tuesday, March 17, 2026, military communication hubs will begin transitioning entirely onto the secure Starlink quantum network. Expect intermittent disruptions across civilian networks as encryption layers tighten worldwide. On Thursday, March 19, 2026, a controlled financial cooling period will occur. Select banks across the EU, US, and Asia will temporarily pause international transfers as QFS liquidity channels fully replace the SWIFT framework. Officials will call it routine maintenance. It is not. On Saturday, March 21, 2026, global enforcement units will initiate the next wave of coordinated arrests. Over 7,000 sealed cases are scheduled to be executed across 14 nations. Expect sudden resignations, media blackouts, and emergency parliamentary sessions. On Monday, March 23, 2026, a worldwide market freeze will be announced. All major stock exchanges, NYSE, Nasdaq, FTSE, DAX, Nikkei, will halt trading simultaneously for the first time in human history. This marks the official death of the fiat derivative system. On Wednesday, March 25, 2026, the second phase of wealth redistribution begins under QFS auditing. Independent citizens with verified biometric wallets will gain access to their stabilized asset-backed balances. This will spark the largest economic recalibration ever recorded. On Friday, March 27, 2026, advanced medbed units will be deployed to undisclosed military hospitals for classified recovery operations. Whistleblowers report that regeneration trials have exceeded all expectations, including cellular age reversal and neurological restoration. On Sunday, March 29, 2026, a global broadcast update will be issued through the Starlink emergency network. This transmission will contain newly declassified evidence of crimes against humanity, exposing the final layer of the cabal's power structure. On Tuesday, March 31, 2026, the worldwide digital identity rollout begins. QFS-issued sovereign IDs will replace outdated government documentation. This upgrade will eliminate tax fraud, identity theft, and financial manipulation permanently. On Thursday, April 2, 2026, the new quantum governance framework will be presented. Nations will reveal their transition into constitutional, asset-backed republic structures, fulfilling the long-awaited Jazara mandates. On Sunday, April 5, 2026, a global unity celebration will synchronize across all 209 Jazara nations. This marks the public recognition of humanity's entry into the new era, free from the old debt-based systems and restored into sovereignty. Judy note, it has been long known that the goal of the deep state global elites was to depopulate the planet so they could assume complete control. Newly disclosed CIA documents have confirmed that the agency has been coordinating the deliberate mass poisoning of the American people via vaccines, food and water to soften up U.S. citizens ahead of a mass depopulation event. Declassified CIA documents from the CIA's Project Artichoke, the sinister root of MKUltra, revealed the explicit blueprint to chemically subdue entire populations in secret. The goal was to create covert drugs that suppress free will, induce hopelessness, or keep people in perpetual anxiety, turning awake humans into obedient, dulled masses deliverable via standard medical treatment such as vaccinations, shots, etc. The CIA mind control program was the basis for this sick agenda of the deep state. The below is an article I wrote back in November 2023 that gives a background for how scary this agenda is, and how ingrained it is in our present day. Monday, November 15, 2023, CIA tortuous mind control experiments on children in 1988. MKUltra mind control survivor Linda McDonald of the McDonald's hamburger chain, won a class action suit against the CIA and President of the American and World Psychiatric Associations Dr. Ewen Cameron. Linda McDonald, like many child victims of the CIA mind control program, grew up in a multi-generational Satan-worshipping family. The McDonalds were suspected to not only be involved in the satanic ritual abuse of children, but were thought to be leaders in the movement. They were found to use human meat in their hamburgers. Of course, like everything connected to the CIA, nothing much has been done about it, nor have their evil deeds been made known to the general public. McDonald's chain closing globally, human meat, body parts found in food. In 1963, McDonald was sold by her parents to be child victim of Dr. Ewen Cameron's destructive mind control experiments. Cameron used a treatment which involved intensive application of brainwashing techniques such as drug disinhibition, prolonged sleep deprivation and prolonged psychological isolation that were combined with the painful electric shocks of electroconvulsive therapy, ECT. The amount of electricity introduced into Linda's brain exceeded by 76.5 times the maximum amount recommended. MKUltra experiments was settled out of court for $750,000, which was divided among 8 plaintiffs. Cameron's numerous other child victims were never compensated for their lifetime of physical and emotional pain caused by his experiments, nor were thousands of other child victims of the CIA mind control program. Congress has held 2 investigations on the illegal CIA program which involved extensive torture of children, though nothing has come of their findings, nor were results of the inquiries published, nor was the information released to the general public, nor has the CIA been reprimanded for the program centered on changing the developing brain patterns of children through prolonged physical and mental torture. On February 8, 1988, another MKUltra victim, Kathy O'Brien, was rescued from her mind control enslavement by intelligence insider Mark Phillips. She had been a victim of the CIA covert government program MKUltra Project Monarch operation. Her programming began at a very young age with being used in child pornography and eventually led to her serving as a top-level intelligence agent and White House sex slave. Although Linda McDonald and Kathy O'Brien were eventually able to escape the CIA hold on them, other child victims have not survived, or were still being held captive, such as Kathy O'Brien's daughter. Some who did get out claim that the CIA torture of children in mind control experiments was still going on, even today. In 1973, CIA Director Richard Helms ordered all MKUltra records destroyed after getting word that Congress had decided to look into the matter of illegal CIA mind control experiments on humans. The CIA mind control program, which was centered on changing the developing brain patterns of children through torture, was supposedly permanently halted, although survivors of the program say otherwise. 1975 U.S. Army mind control using electrodes. A file released by the U.S. Army dated August 22, 1975 shows how patients were used as guinea pigs for mind control studies. Electrodes were inserted into parts of their brains, ostensibly because it could help to heal them. In 1976, during a Senate Intelligence Committee investigation on the MKUltra mind control program, Committee Chairman Senator Frank Church uncovered MKUltra records, even though CIA Director Helms had ordered all destroyed 3 years prior. Church reported that the CIA was a rogue elephant operating above the law as it plotted assassinations, illegally spied on thousands of Americans and drugged citizens in its effort to develop new weapons for its covert arsenal. 1976 Final report of the Senate Select Committee to Study Governmental Operations with Respect to Intelligence Activities, SREP. Number 94-755, 94th Cong, 2d Sess. Book I, at 385-86, 1976. CIA officials, such as the Deputy Director for Science and Technology Carl E. Duckett, admitted at U.S. Senate hearings that the CIA unwitting drug tests were wrong. The Senate Intelligence Committee concluded that compartmentalization was used in the MKUltra program to conceal the unethical and illicit activities by the CIA. Few people, even within the agencies, knew of the programs, and there is no evidence that either the executive branch or Congress were ever informed of them. The highly compartmented nature of these programs may be explained in part by an observation made by the CIA Inspector General that the knowledge that the agency is engaging in unethical and illicit activities would have serious repercussions. In 1977, through the Freedom of Information Act, author John Marks requested and found 16,000 pages of MKUltra financial documents. Marks' research resulted in significant articles about the CIA mind control program being published in the New York Times. Although neither two official reports of committee findings, nor the New York Times articles mentioned the use of child victims in the program. Private institutions used in CAL effort to control behavior. 80 institutions used in CIA mind studies. A says IT found more secret papers on behavior control CIA, not behavior. Senate Committee Report, Project MKUltra, the CIA's research program in behavioral modification, Senate Committee Report. Secret Justice Department Report, How the U.S. Helped Nazis. Page 374, CIA first worked with Nazi official Klaus Barbie in 1947. He came to the U.S. several times. In 1949 there were public claims by Nazi victims that Barbie used torture and interrogation techniques, but Army officials continued to protect Barbie. 1977 Senate Pike Committee investigation on a CIA mind control. A MKUltra administrator was taken before a Senate Pike Committee hearing to answer questions about CIA mind control projects. He revealed that the CIA had indeed funded a series of such operations. The programs were code-named MKUltra, MKAction, MNALMI, Artichoke and Bluebird, which involved people being used as guinea pigs in mind experiments. Many subjects lost their sanity and at least 2 people died. Congress voted not to publish results of the 1977 Pike Committee investigations on the CIA MKUltra mind control program, and just as with the Senate Church investigation a year prior in 1976, no action was taken. In 1979 John Marks published The Search for the Manchurian Candidate, the CIA and Mind Control on Secret History of the Behavioral Sciences by John Marks, W. W. Norton and Company Incorporated. The book was based on documents of the MKUltra government intelligence mind control programs. 1980 Canadian mind control victims sued the CIA and won. Their complaint was filed December 11, 1980 against the CIA under the Tort Claims Act. $1 million was awarded 9 Canadian victims in the successful litigation against the CIA, Dr. D.U.N. Cameron and U.S. and Canadian governments for brainwashing experiments done in the late 1950s and early 1960s at the Allen Memorial Institute at McGill University Psychiatric Hospital in Montreal. In 1983, 1984 Professional Mental Health Treatment Organizations of the International Society for the Study of Trauma and Dissociation and International Society for Traumatic Stress Studies were formed. Their purpose was to create treatment modalities for thousands of dissociate, identity disorder and mind control clients knocking on their doors. Survivors claimed that as children they were forced to participate in government mind control experiments in combination with satanic ritual abuse and local satanic covens. The U.S. and Canadian government mental health facilities refused, and to this day, still refused according to SRA survivors, to recognize or adequately treat satanic ritual abuse victims suffering dissociate identity disorder, commonly known as multiple personalities. Government mental health treatment commonly put SRA survivors on a huge amount of drugs so they couldn't function on their own. In the 1985 CIA vs. Sims case, 471 U.S. 181 U.S. 159, Chief Justice Burger protected CIA MKUltra intelligence sources. Declassified MKUltra documents such as grant proposals, contracts and names of institutions and individuals who performed research in the CIA mind control programs were ordered to be made available to the public under the Freedom of Information Act. However, such requests for the documents were delayed or not honored. The CIA vs. Sims case was filed, but the CIA fought release of documents to the Supreme Court. On April 16, 1985, Chief Justice Burger of the United States Court of Appeals delivered the opinion of the court in favor of the CIA, saying that the intelligence sources who were guaranteed confidentiality at the time of these CIA-funded research projects would continue to remain protected and classified. See possible timing of MedBed rollout. On Saturday 28 February 2026, White Hat Intel dropped their bombshell MedBed timeline, exposing Cabal's centuries-old suppression of healing tech. while poisoning humanity with vax mandates and chemtrails. Patriots, this is the weapon of light that crushes the deep state, regrowing limbs, reversing aging, vaporizing cancers, awakening DNA powers to forge unbreakable superhuman guardians. The Great Awakening surges as med beds erase PTSD, banish brain fog, rebuild organs overnight, and shatter elite control forever. On Sunday, March 1, 2026, medbed centers ignite in 209 nations, shielded by gold-backed QFS. 23,500 U.S. hospitals equipped with 2 to 4 units each, 26,900 global centers launch with 2 beds apiece. Priority DNA scans for veterans and trafficking survivors, light warriors healed first. Sovereign treasuries fund free access, Big Pharma obliterated. On Tuesday, March 3, 2026, 10 Days of Darkness descends. Starlink EBS unleashes medbed tutorials worldwide, revealing how frequencies and vibrations regrow full hair, restore 20/20 vision, heal arthritis, dementia, Alzheimer's, autism, no scars, no side effects. Martial law locks in pedophile arrests as Fiat crashes. Stock up, patriots, freedom dawns. On Thursday, March 5, 2026, Neurological Miracles Online. Autoimmune cells wiped, parasites gone, immune shields recalibrated. Pineal glands restored from vax destruction, personalities reborn, endocrine systems supercharged. Cabal's mind control matrix melts, humanity rises unstoppable. On Monday, March 9, 2026, Zim redemptions. Flood humanitarian projects, accelerating medbed expansions. Global live streams broadcast instant cures, cancers vaporized, limbs regrown post-accidents, aging reversed by decades. Thousands installed in clinics and hospitals, home units incoming soon. On Wednesday, March 11, 2026, Jazzara fully integrates medbeds. No more debt slavery, tariffs and 14% new goods tax replace income grabs. Deep state in panic as military treatments expand to civilians, treating the vaccinated first for their sabotaged glands. On Friday, March 13, 2026, Starlink demos defy physics, showcasing quantum healing that awakens dormant powers. Frequencies realign electrons, bodies self-heal without drugs or scalpels. Patriots unite, this tech turns victims into victors, crushing the elite's grip. On Sunday, March 15, 2026, international public access explodes. 700+ centers operational by year-end, with more rolling out. Light warriors step forward, the cabal's hoarding exposed, their downfall sealed. On Monday, March 16, 2026, free medbeds everywhere, erasing all traces of cabal poisons. Infrastructure booms as wealth drops empower the people. Deep state melting down, their endgame fails. On Tuesday, March 17, 2026, Trump's epic victory event unveils medbed triumph, celebrating QFS rebirth and humanity's eternal freedom. Patriots, the storm is here, medbeds make us invincible. Against evil, forging a golden age where the awakened rule. Global currency reset D. Sunday, March 1, 2026. The Central Bank of Iraq has officially announced on national television that Iraq will introduce and release a new sovereign coin as part of their revaluation process. Blessings, Wolverine on Telegram. According to Rubaim Baz, the following details have now been confirmed under strict confidentiality protocols involving Dr. Miguel and the G13 oversight teams, Tier 4B ISO 2022 on Telegram 1. Yesterday, the operational code and password were successfully entered. 2. A document from Reno was delivered to BACEN, Brazil's central bank, distributing the updated QFS data to the entire global interbank system. 3. Multiple platforms and participating countries have already received liquidity in their CPFs and are passport-linked accounts. 4. Approved international banking institutions will begin contacting investors and beneficiaries. 5. In Brazil, the World Bank and IMF completed all remaining requirements yesterday and departed earlier today. 6. A general requested an IMF document for the president of Safra Bank, authorizing direct communication. This document was received and validated. 7. The final trigger for global movement will occur once the first authorized transaction is executed from the already funded accounts. Summary: Washington and the IMF have officially given the green light for the harvest phase. Once the first movement is made, the system activates globally and everything proceeds simultaneously. Full distribution is expected by next week. Saturday 28th of February 2026. A military contact said distributions of funds were scheduled for after 2:10 March 2026. He said he is not allowed to talk about caps and limitations and we will find out at the appointments, but he can say we will all be very happy with rates and the ZIM 90-day advance of $500 million till structured payout payments start coming to our accounts. All your non-ZIM currency exchange proceeds will be accessible immediately, but if the account funds are put under a structured payout program you will have up to a $250 million advance till the first payout from the SPP. ISO 2022 on Telegram. Prepare for big booms mid-September 2026. Judy note, it is advised to exchange/redeem your foreign currency at an official redemption center rather than a bank. You can only redeem ZIM at RC, the dinar contract rate can only be given at RC and banks will offer you lower exchange rates than what you can obtain at RC. Guru information. And Intel 107 drops bombshell. Intel, the storm is here, Gitmo expanding, tribunals igniting, children being saved as deep state crumbles. 107 on Telegram. The storm has arrived, patriots. 107, the enigmatic voice of truth. Join forces with Hara Teicher, co-founder of Awaken Bold, in a riveting discussion that exposes the cabal's darkest secrets. Hara, a fierce warrior who fled New York's chaos a decade ago for North Carolina's supposed peace, awakened during the pandemic script. Shocked by child trafficking raging in her own backyard, surpassing even drug empires in evil profitability, she launched Awaken Bold to unite communities, educate on signs like suspicious behaviors in hotels or restaurants, and rally heroes without gapes. One thundered in, revealing Trump's master plan. Pentagon greenlit $500 million for Gitmo's emergency expansion, tripled capacity with secure cells, geriatric medical bays, and new courtrooms. On January 15, 2026, Trump reactivated military tribunals via Executive Order 14-189. Targeting traitors, child predators, and spies. Since February 1, 47 classified flights from Andrews Air Force Base hauled hundreds to Gitmo, 327,000 sealed indictments dwarfing normal levels, not for terrorists but deep state insiders. Tribunals are firing up now, with John Brennan's arrest imminent in weeks, unraveling the 2020 vote theft and Russia hoax. Hillary's October downfall looms as her witch coven ties unravel. Awaken Bold's upcoming March 7-8, 2026, event at Horseshoe Farms, North Carolina, features powerhouses like Jason Cisneros, Haiti Rescue legend from Underground Railroad, Kathy O'Brien, MKUltra survivor turned beacon, and more. Juan vows to attend, zooming if global ops demand. This isn't just an event, it's activation. Communities harmonizing safe houses with living design tech to heal rescued kids. Trauma, while vets like Craig Sawyer sting borders and Super Bowls. Patriots, the children are not for sale. Epstein files exploding, adrenochrome horror surfacing, even normies awaken as news floods with proofs. On May 17, 2026, Trump calls all to DC's National Mall for national rededication to God, echoing Pilgrim's Covenant. Then 49 days of prayer to July 4, reclaiming America from occult hijackers. Iran's defiance ends soon, carriers poised, nukes crushed, peace enforced. Quanons, this is our moment. Massive arrests will shock the sheeple, but we knew. White hats executing flawless ops, draining the swamp deeper than ever. Add this fire, underground networks confirm elite bunkers raided, clones exposed, quantum tech flipping elections back to we the people. Rise up, attend, pray, victory is ours. God wins, the Great Awakening surges. Save the Children. Sunday, March 1, 2026. 43 missing children have been located in Westchester, New York, just 6 to 8 miles from the Clinton mansion. Authorities have identified 5 Westchester communities: Yonkers, Mount Vernon, Mount Pleasant, White Plains, and Dobbs Ferry, as having the highest number of missing child cases in the region. Trump circle on Telegram. Sun. March 1, 2026. The Epstein files confirmed that satanic ritual abuse survivor Juliette Bryant claimed that Jeffrey Epstein shapeshifted while they were having sex at Zorro Ranch, New Mexico and Little St. James Island in the Caribbean. Alex Jones on Telegram. Sun. March 1, 2026. Wexner testifies of Epstein-claimed Rothschild links. In sworn testimony, Leigh Wexner said Jeffrey Epstein portrayed himself as handling financial matters tied to the Rothschild Family incited past work at Bear Stearns. Newly released documents also show Epstein corresponding with senior banking figures, though no criminal findings involve the Rothschild. The testimony adds to scrutiny over the extent of Epstein's high-level connections, the Patriot Dispatch. Sunday, March 1, 2026. Epstein had numerous other elite individuals who would find women and children for himself, Diddy, and other wealthy elite individuals, like Rachel Chandler, who are rarely ever mentioned. You need to ask yourself why. Naomi Campbell and Tyra Banks are two of those alleged other people, or pimps, who were embedded and connected in the entertainment and modeling industry that would scout women and children for Epstein and Diddy for their friends and other customers. You must understand that once you have all the money in the world, other things become more valuable, and an example of things that are more valuable than money are women and children. This is just another layer to the overall big picture, the Siphon Telegramy. What we think we know as of Monday, March 2, 2026 : Sunday, March 1, 2026. There was no pandemic, and the lie was perpetrated in order to inject 5.5 billion people with an intentionally dangerous substance, 17 million of whom have died so far, Dr. Mike Yeadon, former VP at Pfizer Son. March 1, 2026. January 6. Defendants file class action lawsuit against Nancy Pelosi. Jazar Nizara on Telegram. Sunday, March 1, 2026. Dr. Mike Yeadon, former VP at Pfizer. There was no pandemic, and the lie was perpetrated in order to inject 5.5 billion people with an intentionally dangerous substance, 17 million of whom have died so far. Sunday, March 1, 2026. The deep state cabals BlackRock, Vanguard and State Street are the largest shareholders, 88%, of S&P 500 companies. Sunday, March 1, 2026. Mel Gibson ripped into Build Back Better after his own $14.5 million Malibu mansion was completely destroyed in the Palisades fire. When have you ever seen the government build back better? Speaking from personal pain, his hilltop home burned to ashes while he was away recording Joe Rogan's podcast. Gibson points to lingering victims from the 2018 Woolsey fire still stuck in trailers years later. He calls that endless social engineering, environmental regulation, and spending as the last thing burned out communities need, a bunch of bureaucrats telling us how to rebuild our communities. No trust in the promises, no faith in the process. As of February 2026, Gibson has started the long rebuild on his property, proving resilience amid the red tape. Sunday, March 1, 2026. Other victims of man-made disasters who don't have Gibson's money weren't so lucky. 2.5 years after man-made dew attack fires destroyed the ancient kingdom of Hawaii's capital city of Liahona, Maui, over 1,500 victims were still living homeless on the beach. While only a select handful of homes of the 5,000 destroyed were being rebuilt, all of which resulted from the Democrat-led government's decisions. It was rumored they, like in California, wanted to make the area into a smart city, where citizens could be completely controlled by the cabal. Sunday, March 1, 2026. Weeks ago, in a historic move that's rocking the drug underworld, President Donald Trump signed an executive order designating drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, enabling U.S. military lethal force and sanctions against them. Trump vows to obliterate drug cartels. On Saturday, March 28, 2026, King Charles III of the UK and England will dies. Carolyn Bessette Kennedy on Telegram. Saturday, 28 February 2026, just in. Missiles fired toward Abu Dhabi, regional escalation underway. Saturday, 28 February 2026, Red Alert, Trump issues national security directive, federal agencies ordered to cut all ties with woke Anthropic AI and military operations. Sat. February 28, 2026 : High stakes ultimatum, President Trump warns Iran's armed forces, lay down your arms or face certain death. Saturday, 28 February 2026, Intel Desk, Global escalation, China demands immediate halt to U.S. and Israeli military operations against Iran. February 28, 2026, international response. Saturday, 28 February 2026 : Not Iraq 2.0, the 118-year empire Trump just ended, Trump's Iran strike, ending a 118-year British control. Saturday, 28 February 2026, official, President Trump confirms death of Khamenei, one of the most evil people in history, is dead. Sunday, March 1, 2026, breaking, first American blood spilled in Operation Epic Fury, CENTCOM confirms fatalities in Iran war. Sunday, March 1, 2026, massive Iranian lie exposed. USS Abraham Lincoln not hit by missiles. CENTCOM responds with fury. Iran lied. J wars and rumors of wars. Saturday, 28 February, 2026. Fox News. President Trump's forces accelerated strikes on Iran last night, hitting senior leaders and military targets just hours after his arrival in Florida. Israel simultaneously bombed key compounds during Ramadan and Shabbat, dropping 30 bombs, while the U.S. executed nearly 900 strikes in 12 hours. Intelligence-driven, this unusually timed target of opportunity operation aimed to maximize impact and catch Iran completely unprepared. Sunday, March 1, 2026. It's official, Iran confirms Khamenei dead, Trump declares justice. Iranian state TV confirmed the supreme leader was killed in Saturday's U.S.-Israeli strikes. Trump, one of the most evil people in history, celebrates on Truth Social. All the nations of the Middle East, and the Islamic world, already agreed with Trump that the Iranian regime cannot have nuclear weapons and must be removed. Russia and China abandoned Iran also. The situation was always secure because the deal was already made. Trump had the battle won before he fired a single shot. The decisions were already made. What we are witnessing play out is not war, but rather a controlled and precise obliteration of the deep state, mixing military, economic, informational, and psychological elements. We are witnessing the systematic destruction of the old guard. Congress divided, GOP calls it necessary, Democrats demand war powers vote, Patriot Freedom on Telegram. Sun. March 1, 2026. The Iranian people are now toppling statues of former supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei following strikes that took him and multiple senior Iranian military leaders out. Sunday, March 1, 2026. A video is going viral showing Iranian women cheering following strikes on Khamenei's bunker, with multiple Israeli officials reporting that the supreme leader has been taken out. Sunday, March 1, 2026. Benjamin Netanyahu says he expects Iran to launch a direct attack against the State of Israel, which he says would be the biggest mistake Iran has ever made. Netanyahu claims he has personally conveyed this message to the Ayatollah regime. We will respond with a force they cannot even imagine, the MAGA wire on Telegram. Sunday, March 1, 2026. Iran state media has released a video claiming it will bomb U.S. bases in the region featuring F-4 Phantom jets. The MAGA wire on Telegram. Sunday, March 1, 2026. UK Prime Minister Starmer announces that the United Kingdom has entered the war against Iran. Our forces are active and British planes are in the sky today, as part of coordinated regional defensive operations to protect our people, our interests and our allies. Sunday, March 1, 2026. Just in, the Israeli army says it conducted its largest military airstrike in history, with about 200 fighter jets dropping hundreds of munitions on roughly 500 targets, including air defense systems and missile launchers, across multiple locations in Iran simultaneously, the MAGA wire on Telegram. Sunday, March 1, 2026. The real reason they killed Saddam. The U.S. launched its shock and awe attack on Baghdad in 2003 despite worldwide protests against it. Countless undocumented stories of Saddam's atrocities and lies about his WMDs were used as justification. Follow the money. What was the financial benefit for the illegal invasion? Saddam Hussein decided to sell Iraqi oil using the EU currency, not the US dollar, which would have weakened the US dollar and undermined the US economy. That is the unpublicized reason for the brutal elimination of Saddam Hussein. The theft and control of Iraqi oil also played a large role. Jazar and Ezer on Telegram. K-banking going down. Get your money out of your bank before the big collapse. Judy note warning, with the new gold/asset-backed global financial system now online worldwide, along with its global currency reset in motion, all banks not Basel III compliant, have gold and assets to back their money, were going out of business. Their fiat dollar lending system was collapsing, along with any still at the bank disappearing. Sunday, March 1, 2026, $1 trillion just vanished from banks. That's not a crisis. That's a massacre. PacWest down 50% in one day. First Horizon collapsing. TD Bank ran away. $1 trillion came out of the regional banking system, gone into nothing. Your money. Next. That's putting your hand on the neck of the lenders. They're choking, and your money is choking with them. The juice of the Fed is weaker than people think. Translation: they can't save you. They won't save you. They're watching you burn. Who's calling PacWest to make a loan today? Nobody, and nobody is coming to save your money, either. They will tell you your money is contained. They will lodge $1 trillion missing doesn't contain, it destroys. Carolyn Bessette Kennedy on Telegram. Obama crime. Obama's secret stay behind army. It's time to purge and shatter the deep state into a million pieces. In 1979, under President Carter, the Senior Executive Service, SES, was created as a nonpartisan corps of career managers to implement federal policy, equivalent to general officers in the military. During Obama's first term, 2009 to 2013, a gradual purge of patriots began across government agencies, including intelligence and military, transforming the SES into a tool for political control. In 2012, amid the Benghazi attack, Obama fired key military leaders like General Carter Ham, U. South Africa Command, and Rear Admiral Chuck J. Huet for defying stand-down orders, part of a broader military purge that removed 9 senior generals, 2 nuclear commanders, and 197 high-ranking officers. By December 15, 2015, 6 months after Trump announced his candidacy and rose in polls, Obama signed an executive order making SES members nearly impossible to fire, accelerating the replacement of over 6,000 of 8,000 SES positions with loyalists committed to his Transformation of America agenda. By the end of Obama's second term in 2016, these embed saturated agencies, for example, 821 in Justice, 639 in Homeland Security, 478 in Defense, forming a stay-behind army to sabotage Trump. This network fueled the 2016 to 2020 insurance policy against Trump, including Russiagate, Mueller probe, and impeachments, orchestrated from Obama's shadow ops in D.C. Exposure is key. Trump's hunter era is dismantling it. I was the hunted, and now I'm the hunter, President Donald J. Trump. Sunday, March 1, 2026. Early 2008, FBI rumors were circulating of a high-level asset working for Saudi intelligence and the CIA, the SIF on Telegram. The asset was Barack Obama, developed as a political figure in Chicago despite not being a U.S. citizen, on a student visa from another country. His code name, Renegade, real name allegedly Barry Sutara, changed for his career. Obama's presidency was the culmination of cabal plans to destroy the U.S. from within, one institution at a time. He defunded the military while ordering attacks on allies and support for enemies, including creating ISIS by publicly announcing bombings on foes but actually targeting their enemies, providing ISIS with funding and equipment via abandoned military gear in theaters like Iraq and Syria, despite commanders' objections. Connections tie back to the Bush family, with a young Obama, groomed from a young age by intelligence for his position later in life. Stepfather Lolo Sutara, a CIA asset and Standard Oil executive, ran Indonesian death squads and did business with the Bushes. George H. W. Bush founded Halliburton. Obama's grandmother allegedly handled CIA funds in the Southwest Pacific, introducing his mother, Ann Dunham, to Sutara, who adopted Obama. His mother ran deep cover-ops as an anthropologist, infiltrating villages to expose communists for CIA executions. Intelligence, ruthless hits, and corruption go hand in hand with Obama. CIA Director John Brennan's Tuesday morning kill list under Obama, starting 2009, using advanced tech for weekly assassinations via drones or teams. Obama is called one of the most ruthless killers, dropping more drone missiles than any president, with the administration proud of whacking everybody. The United States was infiltrated, sold out, and on a slow path of collapse. That started with all roads leading to Obama as the one who set the wheels in motion. That was until one man stepped in against all odds and stopped it. This, ladies and gentlemen, was the beginning of the end for Obama by the hands of one man and his passion for America and its people. That person was President Donald J. Trump. 10. Sunday, March 1, 2026. Obama and his wife Michelle were caught multiple times on video alleging that Obama was born in Kenya. The mainstream media claim it was an accidental slip-up every single time. The SIF on Telegram Loretta Fuddy, who allegedly provided verifications that were never brought in front of a court for Obama's alleged fake birth certificate, was the only person who mysteriously died in a plane crash that was caught on film while everyone else surviving. Why do these shady circumstances and mysterious deaths always surround the same people over and over again? Clinton crime. Sunday, March 1, 2026. Fox News. Hillary Clinton cooked up and approved the plan And Obama lit the fuse for the Russia collusion operation against President Trump when they knew the entire time that the intelligence report and Robert Mueller's witch hunt that they put the public through for years produced no evidence of any collusion at all, whatsoever. They engineered a plot, fabricated evidence, and spied on our own representatives to run a coup and undermine a sitting president in the United States of America itself. This is sedition, if not the definition of treason, subverting the Constitution itself. Sunday, March 1, 2026. Epstein started and funded the Clinton Global Initiative. Ghislaine Maxwell testified under oath that Epstein was one of the original founders and funders of the Clinton Global Initiative. There is a massive amount of evidence, documents, pictures, flight logs, and testimonies proving that the Clintons had an extensive and in-depth relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Perjury is punishable with prison time. Sunday, March 1, 2026. The Epstein files contain many mysteries but were missing a large section of documents consisting of the time period from 1999 to 2001. It also exposed and confirmed many of the Clintons' connections and trips with Epstein, including helping to start their foundation. But how did Epstein really find Clinton before he was president? Do their connections go back to the drug running in Mena, Arkansas with the CIA? Ghislaine Maxwell was also oddly enough asked to be a part of a shadow commission on 9/11. We know that they knew about 9/11 before it happened. Many questions still remain. Why didn't they do anything about it and just let it happen? And who really benefited the most from one of the largest terror attacks on American soil in history, and was Epstein connected? The White Hats on Telegram. Sunday, March 1, 2026. Since the Epstein files release and Ghislaine Maxwell's testimony about Epstein helping to start the Clinton Foundation, 10 Days of Darkness on Telegram. Epstein files and Ghislaine Maxwell testimony also connects the Clintons to the USAID and shady NGOs' connections to child trafficking and people like Laura Silsby, who was caught trafficking 33 children from Haiti, start to make a lot more sense. Silsby wasn't just caught once trafficking children, but twice. The Clintons have complete control over all of the contracts for the rebuilding effort in Haiti. If you weren't connected to the Clintons, you didn't get a piece of the billions of dollars of USAID and NGOs' taxpayer dollars, overcharging for everything and pocketing the rest, where Haiti received less than 3% of the total $11 to $16 billion slush fund, with a total of 6 houses built. The Clintons ended up hiring a lawyer for Silsby after she was caught trafficking children the second time. Why are the Clintons even involved? The only problem was that Jorge Puello, Silsby's lawyer, was actually a fugitive and wanted himself for the trafficking and abuse of minors, along with his wife, who were both later arrested and charged. This child trafficking ring is worldwide and connected to USAID, shady NGOs and some of the most powerful elites in the world, disguised to help children, when in reality, they're the ones trafficking the children. There are no coincidences. Q. Government fraud. Sunday, March 1, 2026. Fox News. Holy crap. Nick Shirley is exposing migrants and fraudsters using autistic children to loot taxpayers in Minnesota. $260 million in Medicaid funds just withheld. Boom. Shirley drops the hammer. They are using autistic children to defraud the government. They're using the autistic children, and they're using old people to take millions and billions of dollars from the state and giving it to fraudsters and the federal government as well. He calls out the kickbacks. Parents get paid to slap fake autism diagnoses on kids, enroll them in shady centers, and rake in massive payouts. Autism funding exploded, over 10,000% increase. Come on. No way that's real, it's a scam pipeline. Shirley ties it to the big picture. Dr. Oz cracking down because these crooks are defrauding American citizens out of billions. Predators exploiting vulnerable kids and elderly for cash grabs while Dems like Waltz let it slide. This is Democrat-run Minnesota in 2026. Sunday, March 1, 2026, Maine Governor candidate Ben Midgley reveals 140 Maine healthcare companies have now shown up to have Minnesota phone numbers. It's pretty clear that at least on some level, there's a connection between the fraud that's happening in Maine and the fraud that's happening in Minnesota. Our Sunday, March 1, 2026. Fox News. The Gdam Ilhan Omar fraud operation in Minnesota. Not only did Amy Bach, the woman behind the $9 billion Minnesota Somali fraud operation, along with whistleblowers, confirm that Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison knew about the fraud. But Ellison not only met with Somali fraudsters who were under FBI investigation, he invited them to his office for a 54-minute meeting and took a $10,000 bribe 9 days later. Holly Moe, You took $10,000 from them 9 days after the meeting. You helped fraudsters defraud the state of $9 billion, and you got a fat campaign contribution out of it. You ought to be indicted. They begged you to help them, and you agreed to it. It's all on tape. You said, "Send me the names of these folks investigating them." You said I'll take the list, call the person at Education, and say, "What's going on?" The Mexican cartel. Sunday, March 1, 2026, cartel violence is being allowed in Mexico because President Claudia Sheinbaum works for the cartel. A senator from Mexico went on Fox News and exposed it all. The president of Mexico works for the cartels. She was funded by money from the cartels. It's not just the president, there are an entire group of Mexico politicians labeled anarcho-politicians. Mexico is a narco-state. Mexicans are afraid of the alliance between the Mexican government and the cartels. The Morena, political party, is financed by the cartels. That's how they get elected. Once they get elected, the deal is for the Mexican government to then protect the cartels. The president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo, doesn't want this information getting out. Mexicans and the politicians who are paid off by the cartels want Donald Trump to help with the cartels. The Mexico senator exposing all this says she is now being threatened with prison for speaking out. The president has threatened me to proceed against me with criminal prosecution to get me out of the Senate and get me in jail just because I told you in this space and Fox News. And now the assassination of Uruapan Mayor Carlos Manzo, a known cartel critic. The cartel runs the Mexican government. Sunday, March 1, 2026. This outrage over the men's USA hockey team is incredibly stupid, but it's important we recognize it for what it is. The MAGA King on Telegram. It's proof that the left have politicized everything. They injected their politics into every element of our society. They infected movies, TV, sports, music, art, video games, news, academia, social media, the corporate world, essentially every piece of media we consume, etc. They made it so being openly political about left-wing narratives is accepted and encouraged, but if you show anything but vile hatred towards Trump and America, they will unleash their media apparatus and seek to destroy you. This is why the left are so upset about the men's hockey team, because they desperately do not want the public or other athletes to see that it's okay to be friendly towards Trump, or to show any level of patriotism. They did the same thing when Saquon Barkley took a ride with Trump on Marine One, or whenever any team visits Trump at the White House. Why? Because they don't want other people to think it's okay to start showing their support for Trump. It's all part of their desire to control public perception. They have weaponized everything to serve their nefarious agenda. So when people get mad about the politicization of sports, there is only one side to blame. The left have gotten completely out of control, and we can no longer sit back and passively ignore this insanity. We must confront it, or they will consume us all. Sunday, March 1, 2026. CIA MKUltra bombshell. Declassified files expose ongoing plan to drug and sedate the global population. The war on free will rages in 2026. Q on Telegram. Patriots, another deep state nuke just detonated. Declassified CIA documents from Project Artichoke, the sinister root of MKUltra, reveal the explicit blueprint to chemically subdue entire populations in secret. This isn't Cold War relic. These tactics were perfected decades ago and are actively running against us right now in 2026. The goal was brutal: create covert drugs that suppress free will, induce hopelessness, or keep people in perpetual anxiety, turning awake humans into obedient, dulled masses. One chilling directive: substances deliverable via standard medical treatment such as vaccinations, shots, etc. Mass vax campaigns were seen as the perfect silent vector for mind-altering agents. No consent, no detection, just gradual control. They also wanted long-term agents for sustained dosing, one to generate constant agitation, nervousness, and tension, another to plunge victims into depression, lethargy, and despair. How to deliver: everyday items, food, tap water, Coca-Cola, beer, liquor, cigarettes. The files state plainly, this study should include chemicals or drugs that can effectively be concealed in common items such as food, water, Coca-Cola, beer, liquor, cigarettes, etc. Artichoke fed directly into MKUltra, expanding into LSD dosing, hypnosis, and trauma programming on unwitting subjects. But population-wide sedation was the real prize, protected, refined, and never truly ended. When MKUltra closed, the program went dark, embedding into public health, big pharma, and psyops masked as compassion. Today we see it everywhere: skyrocketing mental health drug prescriptions, endless booster mandates sold as duty, social platforms engineered to cycle rage and resignation, whispered frequency experiments, chemtrail denials crumbling. They mastered low dose, constant exposure through trusted systems until resistance fades. This is biochemical tyranny, the cabal's dream of a sedated herd. But here's the fire: they're panicking. Leaks are deliberate, whistleblowers multiplying, truth flooding out. Q said it would shock the world, we're living the shockwave. Every jab questioned, every lie rejected, every mind that stays sharp is crushing their plan. The white hats are tearing it down. These exposures are part of the controlled demolition. Guard your mind, body, spirit. Reject the sedation. Spread red pills relentlessly. The storm is raging, victory is near, and an awakened army is their worst nightmare. Hold the line. The awakening cannot be stopped. Trust the plan. WWG Wonga. The latest video will be shown earlier at the official website urdailyblog.com. Sincere thanks to all our audience. To continue watching videos without ads, you can subscribe via the Gumroad link below the description. If you want to watch the latest free videos, you can visit urdailyblog.com. If you continue to love and support us, you can donate to us via GiveSendGo or PayPal or Gumroad link below the description. God bless us all.